Part 14. The Turmeric Collision. The courtyard of Sija's home was draped in the heavy silence of a humid midnight. Manav stood near the stone pillar, the glow of his phone illuminating a face that had suddenly gone pale. The voice on the other end was a frantic blur of clinical terms and desperation. His breath hitched. Shajit's father had suffered a massive heart attack. The stillness of the night was shattered by the weight of the news. A few yards away, Shajit was oblivious to the world. He lay sprawled across a wooden cot, the victim of one too many drinks and the exhausting heat of the day. His chest rose and fell in a rhythmic heavy snore, his arm dangling off the side of the bed, fingertips brushing the dusty ground. He was a man suspended in a deep, dark sleep. Panic surged through Manav like an electric current. There was no time for gentle awakenings or gradual realizations. He spun around and sprinted across the uneven stones of the courtyard. His only thought was to reach Shajit, to shake him awake, and to get him to the hospital before it was too late. Simultaneously, the back door of the house creaked open. Sija stepped out into the cool air, carrying a large, shallow brass plate. It was filled to the brim with leftover turmeric powder from the evening's preparations, a vibrant mound of gold that she intended to set aside. She moved carefully, her eyes focused on balancing the heavy plate. Neither saw the other until the very last second. Manav rounded the corner of the veranda at full tilt just as Sija stepped into the main path. The air between them vanished. The world seemed to slow down as their bodies hurtled toward an unavoidable impact, the brass plate tilting dangerously in the narrow space between them. The collision was silent, but the explosion was spectacular. As they slammed into one another, the turmeric powder was launched into the air, creating a massive, billowing cloud of saffron-colored dust. It hung in the night air like a golden nebula, instantly coating everything and everyone in its path with a fine, staining grit. The cloud drifted over the cot, and Shajit was suddenly jolted from his stupor. The fine powder filled his nose and throat, forcing a violent fit of coughing. He sat up abruptly, gasping for air and squinting through eyes that were stinging with the spice. He looked like a ghost manifested in neon yellow, confused and struggling to breathe. "Shajit, get up!" Manav shouted, his voice thick with the powder he had inhaled. He stumbled toward the cot, his hands reaching out to grab Shajit's shoulders. Even in his frantic state, the sight was surreal. Manav's clothes and skin were transformed into a solid, vibrant gold, his frantic eyes the only thing clear amidst the yellow. Sija stood frozen where the collision had occurred, the empty brass plate lying upside down at her feet. She wiped a hand across her eyes, leaving a streak through the thick yellow mask that now covered her face. She watched in a daze as Manav tried to explain the emergency to a disoriented, yellow-tinted Shajit. The urgency of the news remained, but for one singular, breathless moment, the courtyard fell silent again. Shajit stared up in a daze, while Manav and Sija turned to look at each other. They stood there, two golden figures under the stars, head to toe in haldi, caught in the bizarre intersection of a family tragedy and a ridiculous accident.